Hey everyone, Travis here at the very end of an incredibly exhausting Super Week. We're gonna go to sleep in a second. It's week 7, I think, right? I can't even. Hi, I can't. I'm so tired.
Yeah, he just asked if you could take me home too, so he's kind of out of his mind right now. But yeah, it's week 7.
Out of my mind, into you. Let's talk about stuff. So you guys, what? You went 2-2 this weekend? Yeah. So that's a 50-50 chance. Like you guys shouldn't be upset about that, right?
No, I'm definitely upset about it. We have 8 losses, dude. That's double the losses of any split we've had, and combined both splits is more losses than both splits together. So it's very depressing.
Now, okay, let's. This is an interesting thing. I'm happy you said that because a lot of people had predicted, like, in the past, oh, C9 always does so well that the first time they start to struggle, they're going to really, really have a hard time because they won't know how to cope with it. Uh, Now that you guys are, based on the information you just told me, in your mind struggling, do you think that those, what people said before was true?
Well, I think it's true a little bit, but not to the extent of this said. Obviously, we are learning how to cope with losses since we have a lot more. I respect the teams that are negative scores much more now because I don't. It takes a lot of mental fortitude to be like, for example, 410 and try not to let the community get to you. Because you go on Twitter or something, someone's just bashing you. You go on Facebook, someone's bashing you. So wherever you go on the internet, someone's just bashing you. So for teams that lose a lot, I respect them a lot because it takes a lot of mental fortitude to deal with that. And as far as us, I think we've been handling it pretty well. Obviously, not perfectly because no one can handle it perfectly, and we're getting better at it. But I just want to stop losing. I don't care what other people say. I want to win for myself, not for other people. So we're just doing what we can to get better and try and not let what anyone says get to us.
Now, I think Riot and even some of my past interviews have already spent enough time talking about, the situation you guys are in. One thing that I do want to talk to you about, because I'm seeing this more and more, we've had two extended 11-week long splits. Last year was 9 and 10. It seems like there's just been a lot less downtime for the players and teams recommitting even more time than they had last year. So one of the topics I want to discuss with you about is: do you think that there's a little bit of an element of burnout among some of the players, where people are, playing so much league right now, and the splits are so long that people are, kind of having a hard time dealing with that?
Right. So I think with everyone playing more, every team getting more competitive, everyone feels like they need to get better and spend more time in solo queue and scrims, so that way they one don't look like a slacker, two they improve, and three they just don't want to look like they're a detriment to their team. So teams are now playing a lot more solo queue, like probably 5 hours a day, on top of like 8 hour scrim sessions. So they're playing somewhat like they're thinking about league at least like 13 to 16 hours a day. And while that's the standard in Korea or something, it is a different culture over here, and we're getting used to that. And that's definitely going to burn out a lot of people. You're spending 75% of every day thinking about one thing and doing one thing. It's very hard to not get burned out from that, especially if you lose a lot. It just becomes more and more. It's like a snowballing effect. You play a lot, you lose a lot, it just becomes crappier and crappier. And it's just like a snowball field that no one really likes. So I think it's a pretty bad situation, but it's up to that player not to get burned out. He should understand the limits of how much he wants to play and what he can handle reading or hearing. And it's also up to the manager or their coach or whoever takes care of him to like help him out because he has 4 teammates, he has managers, he has analysts, he has people there to support him. So he has to go out of his way to make sure he's not getting burned out. But it's definitely possible for a lot of the players to get burned out.
This is also the first split where it's been, or the first time that North America has had to deal with weekends of LCS. Obviously, we had that last split, but whenever the summer comes along, there's a lot of things like Anime Expo. I saw a lot of players trying to get to that. Just a bunch of different things happening. Do you think it's hard for? I guess what I'm curious about is your thoughts on the sacrifices that pro players have to make. All these young adults and the time sacrifices and even like the events, things like, I don't know, all the different fun things that are happening over the summer that you guys can't go to.
Right. So I think last splits, the LCS was on Thursday and Friday. And most normally speaking, a lot of teams didn't play on the weekend because there's a good break for everyone. They do a week of scrims, they do the LCS, and they take like maybe a day break, like on Saturday or Sunday, and they'll start playing again. But nowadays, you scrim 5 days a week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You have LCS on the weekends, And it's very tiring to do LCS, so a lot of times people can't do anything after. If they can, they just go eat, and they can't really go anywhere else later because they have games the next day, and then they have scrims. So for a lot of people that are young, they miss out on their life. Thankfully, I got to live a lot of my life already as far as being a young kid goes. I was in college, I got to party a lot, I did whatever I wanted, right? So I'm kind of over that phase a little bit. I do still like going out a lot just because I'm very outgoing and I like doing things. But for a lot of other players, they're missing out on a lot of their life, and it's not worth it for a lot of them. Just because one, they're not making that much money relative to like say someone that sacrifices their time to be a professional football player. He makes like a crap ton of money, and we're sitting here not making that much. But on the bright side, it is growing industry. It will get bigger. Things will get better. And as time goes, if they're still in it 3 years from now, especially since they're young, they probably will be. By the time that happens, they'll be an old guard by that time, and they'll make a lot more money then than they do now. But they definitely do miss out on a lot of their life, and it sucks. But at the same time, they get to experience life that other people don't get. They're famous technically. They get a lot of people fangirling over them, fan whatever over them, and they just get to experience a different life. While it's not the greatest, it has downsides, everything, but also has good sides. So I think it's dependent on the person, what they like. If someone's like introverted and doesn't want to go anyway, it's great for them. They get to play all day, they make money, and they get famous off that. But for people that like going out all the time, it might be a little bit worse for them, especially if they're not allowed to go out.
So anyway, it's just a very interesting topic, and I had thought about talking to you about it just because, again, I feel like we're seeing so much League of Legends these days, and with the summer coming, lots of events happening. You guys have any plans now that you guys are done for the week? You guys have any recreation before you get back to scrimming?
I want to go do stuff, but I'm probably not going to because it'd look bad because like we're not doing so hot. So if I were to go go out or something, I'd get called out on it like by fans or something. Like when I went to go eat like dinner or something, I remember like tweeting it out, and then just like random people bashing me like, "Hey dude, you're losing right now. Why are you going out?" And it's just like unrealistic expectations like that. While it doesn't really matter that much, I do want to play it, but I do want to do other things, and I'll just have to see what I feel like doing, I guess, and what I'm okay with.
Because you and I could get ramen at Tatsu. That would be good. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good, but who are you gonna go with?
I mean, that's why I said you and me could go together.
You're asking me out on a date?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
You have any shout-outs, plugs, anything you'd like to say at the end of this interview?
Yeah. Thanks, Travis, for the interview. Thanks for everyone watching us, and thanks for everyone supporting us still. I know we've been kind of pooping the bed, for lack of better terms, but I think I know our problems. I know I said that before, but we're doing our best to fix it, and I hope to not let you guys down. And thanks for the interview, Travis, of course. And I'll go to Tatsu with you, probably.
Well, you guys are only one game away from first place, so all the people yelling at you are kind of silly. You can check out the rest of our coverage of all things LCS, esports, Super Week, Poros, digital gaming at ongamers.com. I'm just hungry right now, and I should eat something before I go home because I don't want to leave again. So if you want to go home with me, what?
I'm not going home with you.
Really?
Really? You just asked me that?
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. This is the first time someone asked me to come home with them.